are live.
Looks like that, huh?
We're live, man. Gotta hit that a little bit. All right. Let me pull this up over here and let's go live.
Good behind the scenes.
This is a little behind the scenes for you. We are kicked off, but anyway. All right. All right, here we go. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast Runs with JP. I'm super pumped that we got Griffin. I'm not even introducing you yet. I think everyone's tuned in right now probably knows who you are, but I want to say good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm kind of excited. This is the first breakfast run that's actually sponsored by the team over at Royal Completion Tools. I'm pretty pumped about that. Those guys are a great group of guys, so I got to say, hey, to all you completion engineers, company men and consultants out there, are you sick and tired of losing sleep over frac plugs, not getting the depth, not holding pressure, or not drilling out properly? Or maybe you aren't getting the best quality and service from the bigger guys. Stop burning the midnight oil and rest at ease while using Royal frac plugs, the most reliable and efficient frac plug on the market. Start your successful completions today by getting in touch with Royal Completion Tools. You can contact them via www.royalcompletiontools.com, sales@royalcts.com, or via LinkedIn. Go check them out. Follow them on LinkedIn. Great group of guys over there. And also, another plug I got to say, if you're watching this live, go over to connection.com, register your email. We're doing a lot of live stuff such as breakfast runs. We're doing an Energy Crew podcast tonight, live at 6 p.m. With Sister Dale Distilling. So I'll be updating people weekly on kind of the live events and the podcast going out. So go check that out. www.connectioncrew, and that's like Motley Crew, CRUE.com. So good morning.
Morning, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy you're here too. Let's see if anyone's tuning in. See if anyone got any comments. We got old Brandon Frankhausen. Morning, gents. Morning. How are you? Renee saying good morning, Royale. Oh, all right. A little shout out to the sponsor. I dig that. We got old Jonathan Rhodes. Get our Thursday kicked off right, JP. That's what we're trying to do here. And we're live streaming this at the Blue Door Coffee House. Blue Door Coffee House. Not to be confused with the Blue Door Bar in Midland. I don't think they're open yet. So
I haven't been to Midland.
And we got Jordan Chrisman. The flower placement adds the perfect pop. Spot on. It's all about attention to details, and that's something right. That Connection Crew is all about. It's about the unique details that make something special. So we're glad. What else we got? Who else? Where's everyone else chiming in from? We'll give it a couple more minutes, and we'll get kicked off with our conversation.
Sounds good.
Let's see. Okay, I guess that's it, man. Let's get it kicked off, and we'll probably open up for a Q&A if anyone's a bright-eyed, bushy-tail watching with us this morning. So now I'm proud to introduce the guest on this week's breakfast run. I hope y'all can hear me. It's live coffee shop, so apologies about the audio. We're sitting with Griffin Selby, all right? The man, the myth, the legend, who is kind of relatively new to our industry. And, okay, now we got some comments. All right. John Refro, good morning. I made another run. Welcome, John. Sitting dead red on a long week, and I hear that. Oh, you know this guy, Alex.
Yeah.
Give him a shout out.
He, I think it was junior year. He was like a guest speaker at one of our classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and that kind of cool.
Alex, yeah.
Isn't that kind of cool? Like after college, like you bump into the people that kind of visit your school and talk to you, kind of like a mentorship.
It's a small oil field.
It really is a small oil field. I dig that. Good morning to you and my LSU colleague from Houston.
Yeah.
All right.
What's going on, man?
All right. So, John Simmons, morning, boys. Morning, John. How you doing, buddy? All right. Now we're going to get this kicked off, and we'll open for Q&A after. And, okay, Jordan Hess, who was probably going to pop in the background, got pulled into a meeting this morning. So thanks for tuning in, Jordan. But I thought you were in a meeting. Why don't you pay attention to the meeting? All right. Let's get this kicked off. All right. So, Griffin, super pumped you're here. All right. So the reason why we have Griffin on the podcast, the breakfast run this morning, is Griffin graduated LSU 2019, right?
Yep.
And since then, he's been doing various rotational shifts with Ovintiv, and he just moved to Houston probably a couple months ago, right?
I've actually been here a little under a year.
Okay. So thanks for correcting me on breakfast run.
Yeah, that's okay.
So He's new
It
here,
happens.
and this is an opportunity to kind of understand what's going on. I guess what's on his plate, on his table, and his sights. Being a newer engineer in our industry, and also to get a little exposure. I mean, it's all about meeting people out there, and I don't think there's such as Tyler Schultz said, there's not a big exposure for the younger generation of engineers and all that stuff. So, man, welcome.
Happy to be able to be the first on what you're creating. You know?
Well, thanks, man.
Trying to get that exposure, man. It's cool to be a part of.
So let's get this going. We talk about general oil field activities, but I kind of want to open this up to kind of your background, have people get a chance to know you a little bit, so they can connect with you. So to start us off, man. So where are you from? How'd you get in the oil field?
Yeah, so from Birmingham, Alabama, first generation oil field. The way I got into it's kind of funny. Growing up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I'm sure that's a pretty common story.
Yeah, I still don't know what I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out.
But I knew I wanted to go out of state and kind of branch out, do something a little different.
Okay.
From the high school I went to, it was like Auburn or Alabama.
Okay.
Went to a big high school, so just wanted to, go do something kind of new and adventurous. And just kind of by happenstance, it worked out. I could go to LSU Petroleum.
Yeah.
That was like the best, most economical option to get out of state and go see what's out there.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, we'll go check this out. And, what's petroleum engineering? But
so you had no idea?
I had no idea.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Dude, if you'd showed me a rig, pump jack, I couldn't tell you which is which and what did what. So
okay.
Literally zero experience.
Okay. All right.
So went down there, and then freshman year, they did a really good job of kind of introducing kids to like what it is the industry does, and kind of as an engineer, what your daily roles would be.
Right.
And John Despain, actually, and you know him?
Yes.
John, yeah. So
yes. I'm trying to get him to come on, so he's watching. John, we're calling you out right now.
Yeah. So John was a senior when I came in as a freshman.
Okay.
And I credit him. We went on a field trip to a rig. It was like this old Kelly rig in Iberville.
Yeah.
John drove down there because he would use for roughneck, so he was kind of like showing everybody around. And just like John, like his passion and energy, you could like see that, and I was just like,
it's contagious.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah. Like if he can get fired up about something like this, and this is what I want to do, and 7 years later, here we are.
Isn't that crazy? Like the guy that took you out on, like, and now you're working together.
Like I said, small oil field.
It really is, man.
But you hear this a lot too, and as you know, it's like it didn't take long to realize that the people in this business it's a special. That's what makes it fun. I mean, it's just like there's nothing like it, and so I picked up on that pretty quick, and I was like, hey, we'll do this.
So you're at LSU, you get out of LSU, and you hop in, and you're with Ovintiv at the time, right? And so you're doing these rotational. So tell me about your kind of rotations. What's your experience and kind of what you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, so and I've got that question a couple times, like what's been your favorite, and I keep on saying it's kind of apples to oranges.
It's not an original question. I'm just asking.
Yeah, come on, man.
You come on, man.
So started off, I moved to Oklahoma and did a year in production in Oklahoma.
All right.
And that was from July of 2019 to July 2020. So, a couple funny things happened in that time span.
What happened in the?
Yeah, there was like this little pandemic that came up.
Oh yeah, the pandemic.
Yeah, it was
flags occurred.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then right after that, moved back to Houston and did 6 months drilling, 6 months completions, and then now I'm in development.
Okay. So coming in the oil field, you started off and the pandemic hit, the OPEC, the prices crashed and all that stuff. I guess what was that? What was going on in your mind when all that stuff was happening, being so new in the industry?
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't really know what to make of it, to be honest, because it's like you're green and you come in and you don't know what's really going on. You're trying to get your feet under you, but then it's like, the price of oil goes negative for the first time in history, and it's like,
Were you thinking like, man, those last 4 or 5 years, what have I done? Or were you like, well, it's just part of it?
I'd be lying if I said no. I mean, there was definitely like the, that first, because like when you started off, everything was pretty good, and I guess early 2019.
Yeah, you had a couple good months.
Yeah, everything was rolling, and I was like, all right, let's kick it off. And then it went downhill pretty fast, I would say, between OPEC Plus and COVID. So, yeah, it was strange, but the people in Oklahoma were the mentors that I kind of latched onto there. They were really good about early on kind of being like, hey, don't look at this as like a negative, oh crap moment. Look at it as like, hey, how can I take this and be like 10 years down the road, like, hey, what did I look at some of the unique experiences that you're hopefully not going to get again, So, the people up there did a pretty good job. And, a lot of those guys, it's just like, hey, welcome to the oil field.
Yeah.
It's just like up, down, and this is how it goes.
Get used to it. One more boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how did you find your mentors? I mean, was that something that you actively, so I feel like, people always talk about mentorship in the oil and gas industry. I mean, it's so important, not just for like operational knowledge, but it could be, whether it's career or introducing you to people, expanding your network. I mean, so how are you finding, I guess, the mentorship currently in the industry, and how did you find your mentor?
Yeah, so I think as I alluded to earlier with John, the people that work in this field and have these roles, they love what they do.
Yep.
And anybody that comes in that's willing to just, hey, teach me something. I mean, it's just like they're everywhere you look.
People love teaching people in
the
industry. Yeah.
And because they're, especially like production, for instance, all those operators have a certain group of their wells, and it's like, and they're very proud. Like those are their, it's like those are their wells.
Babies.
Yeah. And so it's like, they're happy to. It's like, and every operator might do something different. It's like, hey, show me how you're doing this on your wells, and then show me how you're doing this on your wells. And it's like, all those guys are so excited to be like, yeah, it's like nobody ever asked,
yeah.
Let me finally.
I've been doing this for years. No one ever asked me what I'm doing.
So that's really cool, and that's drilling, completions, and production. So all those guys, if you're just willing to let them just kind of literally talk about what they do. It's not like you're sitting there grilling them with questions. It's just like, hey, just show me what you do. I mean, you can just drown in knowledge. I mean, it's just crazy how much those guys know, and it's awesome. So I think finding them is really, for me, honestly, it's just like the first person I was closest to ask a question. I mean,
just ask a question.
Yeah, it was just like whoever's
so it's really there. It's really not a process. It's really just asking the questions. Hey, I don't know this. Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, and and those guys are great too. It's like I would ask a question, and if they don't know, if they're like, well, I think I know this, but go ask him. I know he knows that really well. And so it's just like you literally just ask a question and go on. I mean, it's like get pointed in the right direction as soon as you.
So I guess coming into this, you get the mentorship and all that stuff. But however, I mean, you're in a new role now. You just got back to Houston. I guess what differences, are you feeling from when it comes to like whether it's industry events, whether it's network, is it difficult for you to, I guess, because office visits aren't happening right now. There's a lot of siloed networking activity. Like, are you finding it difficult to, I guess, expand your network? Are you?
We talked about it a little bit earlier. Internally, it's like the guys that have been working externally with Ovintiv for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done pretty good on that front, just thanks to, again, some of the guys kind of leading and mentoring me, because it's these roles we come into, they're pretty, you get a year and that's it. And I got 6 months.
And once you get comfortable, that year is almost over.
Right. Yeah. And it's like 6 months in drilling, 6 months in completions. I mean, that's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things at all. And so it's like in those times, it's like the drilling engineers, if they go to lunch with a vendor or something like that, they'll be like, hey, come meet so-and-so.
Yeah.
And they did a great job of that. So I felt like in the time I had internally, pretty good.
Right.
But it's definitely weird. And it's like, honestly, I hadn't really thought about it much till you bring in the big questions.
We ask the hard-hitting questions on breakfast run.
And there may be a couple guys on here, like at LSU, Jordan and I, especially with like AADE and SPE, and it was like we were meeting people in the industry, new people, like every week.
Are you active in that? Are you active? I mean, after college, do you remain active in those organizations?
Not to the level I was in school, for sure. In school, it was like we had some really good leaders that would set those up, and a ton of the guys and it's like, again, full circle. I mean, a lot of the guys I know now in Houston are from those events, whether it's operators or service companies. It's all stemming from the network I really built in college.
Yeah.
Truthfully. And so it's like, that's kind of interesting. It's like, and I think part of the mantra too, it's like, hey, I've got a job you kind of lose that little bit of
the drive to network.
The drive.
You feel safe. There's like
exactly.
no reason. I don't need to.
You know, it's like in college, I was going to every. You know, I'd skip whatever it was to be like because it's like, hey, these. You know,
not
these guys,
school though.
Not school.
Not
never.
School. Your
never
dad's
skipped
watching.
a class.
Your dad's watching.
Yeah, went to every class.
Yeah,
all the time.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's like you're thinking, I got to go meet these guys because that's how I get employed. And then it's like once you're in here, and especially like in this rotator deal, I guess you know, truthfully, really kind of lose. It's like, you know, what's my reason to keep doing that? And but I'm not saying you shouldn't. Obviously, it's like I'm aware that you need to, but it's like to answer your original question, yeah, it's like it's not as easy just to go, hey, there's something on Thursday where I'm going to go meet other people in the oil field. It's like you have to kind of manifest it yourself a little bit more. And I haven't done a great job of that, to be honest. And so it's like, you know, that's why things like this I think are awesome. And granted, kind of coming post-COVID, I think maybe that'll get a little bit easier because I know that's like some of the golf tournaments and play shoots are kicking back up.
They're starting up again?
Yeah, so, you know, things like that now on the professional side as opposed to like being a student, I think will make it a lot easier.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I know that was a really long answer.
No, but that's the thing, though. I mean, I'm not trying to tie it, but like that's part of the industry right now is the importance of networking, not just
it's huge,
not just salespeople networking with a customer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's also operators networking with other operators. You know, to expand your network. So that's an important part of our industry right now. So I think it's not I don't think that was a long-winded answer. I think that was a great answer. Like,
and you know, it's crazy too. It's like, especially on the side I'm on now, it's, you know, one thing I really didn't realize early in the industry is like how you know, I'm trying to think of the word, amicable with other operators we can be. Cause it's like, you know, we're all kind of here to accomplish the same goal. It's like, yeah, we're trying to make more money than you at the end of the day, but it's like we kind of have a common goal.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me, like getting in, like, hey, you know, what are these guys doing? As opposed to he's like, well, I've got a contact over there. Now I've got to let me ask this guy. You know, it's like, and the amount of networking across like engineer across companies is pretty wild.
Yeah.
And you know, that's something, especially with COVID affecting. Like I have no, you know, and being 2 years into the industry has a lot to do with that too. I'm sure you'll meet, you know, because engineers will change, companies move around, and but yeah, that's something that I kind of noticed.
But that's part of it. So if you're out there listening and you want to connect with Griffin, find him on LinkedIn, look him up, and connect with him. So let's get to the general oil field activity conversation. What are you seeing? What kind of trends are you seeing right now? Whether it's labor or projects taking a longer time to kind of plan due to capital. I mean, you obviously don't get too specific on it, but your general overall observations.
Yeah, I think, and Jordan and I are actually talking about this past week. And, you know, I haven't been around it long enough to really speak too intelligently on this, but it seems like in the past, whenever you see prices kind of rebound and come back up, it's like everybody's grab a rig, go drill. I mean, it's just, you know,
balls to the wall.
Yeah, balls to the wall. I wasn't sure if I could say that, but that's what I was going to say.
I don't know if I can say that, but I just said it, so we're going to go with it.
Fair. Yeah, balls to the wall, drilling, just like full steam ahead.
Yep.
I feel like now, just general perception, operators are getting a little bit more disciplined. This time around, it's almost like we've been stung and we've learned our lesson. Especially, it's like we were just in kind of a business acumen deal this past week, and it's like a lot of operators, the goal is like generate free cash, pay off debt. And I think you do, and one of the main ways you do that is staying disciplined with your capital. So it's like, activity, it's kind of a funny spot because activity is really, I mean, if you look at the rig count, obviously
it's lagging behind the commodity prices, big time.
Yeah, I mean, it's come up from where it was a year ago, which, from negative $20 to 75,
negative $37.
But you know, in the past, if you look at like the rig count and then commodity price, it's like they're just following each other.
Exactly.
And
you're not seeing that now.
No, which I think is good.
I mean, that's okay. No,
my pea brain with 2 years, you know, it's like, I don't know.
My pea brain with 16 years thinks it's good too. So
it might be good. It might be bad, but that's definitely what I've noticed. And it's kind of, for like guys in the field, at least, it's like, you know, there's less activity, but it's like more consistent activity, if that makes sense. It's like we've got, our schedules out and we know what we're going to be doing. But, and it's weird because this is the first time I've seen it go in my career from like low to high. And so it's like usually that, it's your typical boom activity. Everybody's just like,
gear up and going.
So
pedal to the metal.
I would say it's like steady is the best word.
How does that feel for you, man? I mean, 2 years out, 2 years in our industry, obviously there's all this huge narrative against us. It's this Green Deal, all this blah, 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 bogus, whatever stuff. I mean, how's that sitting with you? I've been in the industry for 16 years, right?
Yeah.
16 years in the industry. Like, my first job was shooting woodpeckers out of derricks. But, like, how's that for you mentally, I guess, coming in the industry and staying in a great industry with awesome people in a needed industry, but with all that noise around? Like,
it's funny. I was more concerned about it 2 years ago than I am now. Obviously you get more educated on what we do, how the product that we sell is used, and what it's needed for, and really kind of how the clock ticks essentially. And it's like, the more I've learned about that, the more comfortable it's like, if you'd asked me senior year of my, college, and they'd be like, what do you think about electric cars? I'd be like, oh, I hate them, blah, blah, blah. I can't stand them. And it's like, now it's like, my brother, he just got a job in Atlanta. He's like, I'm going to go buy a Tesla.
I dig it, man.
And my mom was like, you can't do that to your brother. And I was like, I don't really, like, knowing now, it's like, they don't run off gas, but it's like, it's really not a big deal. It's like you got to have natural gas.
But the thing is,
powering the car, you got to have petroleum products to make the car.
All energy. I know, it's all energy.
Yeah, and so it's like, that kind of stuff used to, I guess put a scab on you, and it's like now it's kind of like, and it's like, and you get more educated just in how the way the world works. And it's like, what, we're not going to wake up one morning and every car out there is going to be like, it's like we're talking about something over the span of
decades. Yeah.
And so it's like, obviously it's like, I'm not going to drive an electric car just because, I want to support my industry.
That's right. Support your industry.
No
Get a combustible engine.
Right. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, I think there are some realizations. It's like, those things are really not going to ruin our industry to the extent. And I could be wrong. This is just me. This is just kind of my high level. Like,
so you're pretty good at kind of, filtering out all that noise and all the narrative and all that stuff. Well, just kind of focus.
Here's the main thing. It's like, at the end of the day, what can I personally do about it?
Exactly.
It's like, focus on the things you can control. It's like, I'm not going to let the things I can't control affect my day to day.
What a good mindset to have.
Yeah, why not? It's like, hey, I'm working in a job I love with people I love, doing something I love, and it's like, why am I going to let some external factors just like, what?
That you read on Facebook affect your day.
Yeah, it's just pointless.
You do work with some great folks over at Ovintiv. Ovintiv has a solid team. It seems like a good culture, and that's something I think that's something that people used to talk about a lot. Now it's just like survival culture, but culture is extremely important, I think, at companies, and y'all have a great culture over there.
We have some amazing people. It's like, I have grown more in the past 2 years as just an engineer to my career, but just as a person. Some of the people, it's like, they're just fantastic. It's like, they'll come in your office and be like, hey, how's your work going? How's everything going with
They're
projects?
checking on you versus micromanaging.
Yeah. Just checking on your work, your job. It's just like, but they'll also come by and be like, hey man, how are things? Not outside of all,
That's sweet.
I will say that's sweet. It is, and it's like, it really, that's pretty special in my opinion. That makes you feel more than just an employee, and everybody there is just amazing at that. It's just a great attitude every day.
That's the thing. Like, man, like I reached out. So I reached out to Griffin, and we met before. I think we met maybe once.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. I think through Tyler Schultz, we probably know each other. But I reached out to him. I just shot him a blind message saying, hey, man, doing this. I'm seeing if you want to do it. And without hesitation, I'm in. Let's do this. Like, the fact you're so eager to kind of step out of your comfort zone and do something like this, because this is kind of relatively new. I'm a live breakfast run. You know what I'm going to ask. I don't know what I'm going to ask, but I love your ability to kind of like just just get out of your comfort zone, just kind of take on new things. I really dig that.
That's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about.
New experiences. And
how can our industry, I guess, help not just you, but also the I guess your generation, the newer engineers? What can we do as an industry to kind of help y'all?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
As I referred to earlier, it's like obviously like networking events, like golf tournaments and clay shoots and fishing. It's all that stuff's great, but a lot of that stuff, and I feel like is like the advertising of it and like the marketing to the newer guys in the industry. I feel like a lot of it is kind of word of mouth.
Yeah.
It's where it's like, hey, then it'll be like, hey, are you doing this tournament?
Like, I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, and it's like which I get. You don't want to open a clay shooting tournament just to like anybody that can sign. Like I understand a little bit. I don't know about that.
Yeah. I think the old school feels exactly like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess roundabout answer. It's just more exposure to some of these events.
Okay.
In my opinion, and it could just be me being terrible about keeping up with them. So
well, you got a lot going on.
Take that for a grain of salt, but.
Well, what else? I mean, because I want to open this up because we got some. Just speaking about that, Shane Schur with MS Directional chimed in. As a person who's on the AED golf committee, I'd love to get operators, that's you, involved as they would like to be. Definitely want to keep everyone's fire they bring out of school into the industry. I love that. That's right there. Do you know Shane?
I do not.
Well, we'll connect you. And see maybe you or maybe a couple other people, guys and girls up at the event that might want to get involved in AADE.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty loaded question, right? It's like, how do you keep people's networking gears turning from school to work? Because also you have now this, college, 2 or 3 classes a day and a lot of free time.
Yeah.
Compared to now I'm working a full-time job. I think that's a great question. It's like, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not don't get me wrong. I'm not up here being like, this is what y'all should be doing, because I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think that's something that's,
Yeah, we're not looking for an answer. We're just looking hey, look, that might help. Communication of these industry events to the younger generation, the newer engineers that would benefit from getting out there and networking. Jacob Brewster with a paragraph. I love what y'all are talking about. There's always something better. Okay, so it's about mentorship. Just asking questions, getting out there, taking notes. I completely agree and dig that. And Mike Jefferson, you put them in the field to work with hands before they. I completely agree with field experience.
Yeah, that was my first. I was in the field for a year.
Yeah,
and that was fantastic. It was awesome.
The experience you get in the field. Not only learning operations, but I think the most important takeaway too is that your ability to connect with the people, the guys and girls that are out there, and actually establish those relationships.
Yeah. Well, and you get a sense of what those guys are doing, and it makes you, when you get back down here, a little bit more conscious of how the cookie actually crumbles.
Yeah.
Over,
so what else we got? I think. Does anyone have any questions out there? Kind of tuning in. I think there's kind of a little lag. Let's see what else. Let's see what else we can get up here. We got Corey saying good morning from Oklahoma. My boy Corey, connect with him. We've been sending some pretty good commercials back and forth to each other. What else we got? I don't know if there's any more questions. But anyway, man. So what are you looking forward to?
Man, just really I'll finish my my rotation here at the end of beginning of next year.
January, February?
Yeah, Q2 2022.
Okay.
So that'll be kind of like the end of the 3-year rotational.
And then what?
Deal. And then it's I don't know yet. I don't know where I'm going or what we'll do. But
that's pretty standard oil field. But where would you want to be placed?
You know what? I don't really know. I don't.
That's a great vague answer to that.
Ops is any kind of operations is awesome, but it's like
you really love each position.
I really have.
Okay.
I'm not just saying that because
I dig it.
It's just every one of them has been unique in its own way, but it's there's something else I find that, and it's what's crazy, and it's why I don't say I don't know is because it's like there's something that I thought like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this as much. And it's like I ended up loving it.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't say it's like, I'm not going to like this or
I'm never going to do this.
Yeah, because it's just like it's fantastic.
You might love it.
Yeah, and so
it's a great attitude.
Keep an open mind, and I'll be happy wherever. But.
Well, you got a good attitude, man. So I appreciate you coming on this morning. Do you have anything you have a plug out there? Want to say hi to anyone or anything like that?
No, just hope I had a good.
You want to say hi to your Tesla driving brother in Atlanta?
I don't even know if he's on, but
well, that's some drama right there, I guess. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna get him on the Energy Crew podcast, dig a little bit deeper, and have a. I'm not sure when we do that. I think you scheduled it though, so I'm pretty pumped about that. So let's see what else we got. Jess Brasington over at Red M says, "Good morning, more real conversations." That's what we're doing here. Breakfast run. My beautiful wife says, "Great conversation." Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like we have good conversations between you and me too. So I dig it. So what else we got?
Yeah, it's funny too.
Like, your brother. I am present.
Yeah. And see, I'll shout him out here. And see, it's like that question you alluded to earlier. It's like, yeah, he wants a Tesla because he thinks a Tesla's cool. But it's like the same time, like,
you're in school.
He's drill baby drill. So it's like. You can be both. I know it's
okay. No, that's the thing. You don't have to. That's the thing. We live in a world where you feel like you have to pick a camp and like dig your heels in. You don't have to. You can be in the gray area. It's okay. Like,
and
I dig renewables. We need them at the table. It's all energy, but let's not be ignorant when it comes to the discussion of it.
Right. And it's like you can't put yourself in that box. It's like because the truth is it's happening. Like,
yes.
It's not like that bug is gonna get squashed.
And the louder
so you might as well just be like, how do we
work together?
Right.
Yeah. And the louder you beat your chest, the more isolated we're going to be. And the narrative and the media, whatever you want to call it, is going to be against the little camp. So let's find a way to have conversations versus beat our chest and drill, baby, drill.
Yeah. And so, that's a cool, he'll support this industry 100%.
Yeah.
At the same time. So it's like he's a really cool example of that.
Well, good deal, man.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have? Anything else?
I got nothing.
All right, man.
Hopefully I didn't disappoint too bad.
You did not. Everyone, he did not disappoint at all this morning. I'm so glad to have you on. I was a
little nervous when the camera came.
I'm always nervous.
Big old TikTok ring
light.
Yeah.
We'll do a TikTok dance later. What do they do? These little things.
Yeah,
but
you don't want to see me get into that.
Man, you never know. But honestly, like this is the breakfast run is all about kind of connecting people and kind of exposure, introducing. So I'm so glad you decided to come on, man. I know, kind of relatively new in the industry, man, but this is a chance to be exposed. So again, everyone connect with Griffin. And what else we got?
Someone says they like your jacket. That is a nice jacket.
Well, thanks. Appreciate that. Johnson with the jacket call out. We got Larry Sims. Good morning from Houston. Thanks for the insight. Griffin hit the Conoco for breakfast. I'll be sure to extend an invite to these younger men just joining the industry and women. I dig that. All right. See, no disappointment. You did good.
Okay.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to go to connectioncrew.com and sign up at the to get all these live updates. What's going on? And check out Royal Completion Tools. Great group of guys over there. Say hello to Ethan Etzel, one of my buddies, and I guess we'll see you at the next breakfast run. Is that it?
Awesome, man.
All right.
Had fun. It was great.
Are you tuning in tonight at 6 p.m. for Sisterdale?
I'm going to try to. If we get done with happy hour.
Literally could just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. I mean,
as you should too.
You don't have to be honest at the end. Just say absolutely. I'll definitely be there.
Just to a fault, man.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Griffin, man, I appreciate it. And I guess we'll talk to you. We'll do a handshake. That's it. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll talk to you all soon.